Hello and a warm welcome back to Money Majlis, your favorite podcast on banking, technology and marketing. Today's guest is the CEO of Ian Life and Ian International, earlier called Etisalat. But before I introduce him to you, I want to thank all those listeners who find the time to visit my giving website, give.moneymajlis.com every fortnight to redeem your free $50 gift card for a charity of your choice. As you know, this season of Money Majlis, season 2, is not just about having some great conversations, but also about doing some good. As such, all profits, yes, 100% of the profits that I make from the sponsor monies go into worthwhile causes from this region and from across the world. I have chosen 6 charities this season that benefit from the profits of this podcast. These are Dubai Cares, Red Crescent, Global Fund for Women, Jaipur Foot, World Central Kitchen, and the Orangutan Conservancy. In every episode, my guest gets a $1,000 gift card that he or she chooses to donate to one of these 6 causes. And for every episode, 50 listeners get a $50 gift card to donate. You just have to visit give.moneymajlis.com and click on the charity of your choice to donate $50. The money from my sponsors will go straight into that charity on your behalf. It's that simple. So please remember to visit my website and join me in making a difference to someone somewhere. Thank you. Time now for a commercial break, and I'll see you on the other side.
Money Majlis is proudly supported by Aqua Now, the premier crypto-as-a-service provider, now building in partnership with the top financial institutions in the Middle East. Discover more at aquanow.com.
Money Majlis is brought to you by E&, a global technology group.
Money Majlis is brought to you by Intellect Design Arena, driving digital adoption in banking and insurance.
Money Majlis is brought to you by Live Digital Bank, powered by Emirates NBD. Trust and innovation combined.
Money Majlis is brought to you by Network International, the leading digital payments technology company in the Middle East and Africa.
Welcome back to Money Majlis. My guest today is His Excellency Khalifa Alshamsi. Khalifa is the CEO of Ian Life and Ian International with over 30 years of experience in telecom, media, and ICT. He leads the growth of Ian Life, advancing AI-powered fintech, entertainment, and mobility platforms, while also overseeing telecom operations across 19 countries for Ian International. Under Khalifa's leadership, Ian Money became the UAE's top fintech app and stars on the leading streaming service in the GCC. At the same time, Ian International expanded into Central and Eastern Europe. Khalifa serves as chairman of eVision and Starsplay and holds board positions at Careem, Ian Money, Ian Enterprise, Wio Bank, and Mobily. He is also a key member of the UAE International Investors Council. Khalifa holds a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from the University of Kentucky, USA. Khalifa, welcome to Money Majlis. I've been trying to get you on this show for some time, and I'm so glad that you've given me time today, despite your very, very busy schedule.
Thank you, Suvo. Yeah, I'm glad I'm here, and thank you for doing this, giving back to the community, exposing also a lot of your visitors and your guests to give also information regarding the various type of industries to the listeners. But most of all, the charity work is something great, and I'm glad to be, invited for this and having a nice chat.
Thank you. I mean, it's my small way of giving back to society. But my first question to you, Khalifa, you have so many different roles I spoke about. How do you juggle so many different roles, so many different hats?
As individuals, normally you have to you master the art of wearing different hats for different moments. Not only about roles and responsibilities and jobs. each individual of us in his daily life, he have a different roles. I mean, you are a son, you are a father, you are a husband, you are a friend.
Correct.
In your personal life, you're a neighbor, you are a customer, and you are also a merchant for some of what you do. So for that, you have to play a different roles. And when it comes to roles for companies, I mean, it's amazing how you adjust. Because, I mean, if you look at myself and the company that we look for, I mean, I'm familiar with an incumbent telecom provider from my previous years. And that's normally, it's a different role. But when I go to some of our countries, for example, we are a challenger in some of these markets. So we have different role, different strategy, different tactics. So you are, sometimes you play a role of an established company or a startup. So you'll have to learn when can you be nimble, agile, focus on growth, double growth immediately, and others where you try to optimize and make more efficiency. So, I mean, the mastering these activities is something that's essential in everyday leaders in these days. So this is something that, and we continuously learn as we're going along.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you an unfair question. Of all the roles that you have, corporate roles that you have, which one is your favorite?
As you can say, I mean, normally when you have children, there is no favorite child. So for the various companies that we have, we love them all the same and we give back. But then maybe the give back, it differs from a company to company. So for example, if you have a company is more matured with, solid leadership and large number of leadership, you do more of a supervisory, which I like to call it, nose in, and hands out.
Wow, okay.
And the others, you might want to help them out because of they are in a startup phase, still undermanned in this area. So you do a little bit more. So it depends, I mean, how do you interact with them? But the love and the favorite, I think they're all favorites.
Good answer. Let me start, Khalifa, with a question on strategy. You had a great 2024. It's been, 4 months since this year, 2025 started. You had for the EN Group a record-breaking revenue of 59 billion dirhams or $16 billion. While the mature UAE telecom business grew in the mid-single digits, a lot of the revenue growth of 10% was fueled by EN Life, that more than doubled its revenues, and also by EN International, which also had double-digit growth. Now, the strategic pivot that the EN Group commenced in 2022 to evolve from a telco company to a tech company seems to be paying off quite well for you, quite handsomely. My question to you is, what are some of the important elements, Khalifa, of the revised strategy that is driving this growth?
So one of the great thing, and maybe in this part, we're lucky to be in this part of the world. I mean, GCC in general, UAE in specific. And this market, what it teaches you, that nothing stands still. I mean, the only thing that's common is the continuous change and readiness for the future. And this is something as EN we are practicing day in, day out. Telecom, I mean, since I have 3 decades of experience in the industries, when I first joined in the early 90s, I've seen accelerated growth for the industry. And it was, double growth for the companies at that time. And all countries of the world probably were behaving one way or another in a similar fashion. But then in the recent years, we've seen how this industry, telecom industry globally, has reached standing still, stagnated in terms of top line for majority of the matured market. And you have either, accept that, and the way from stagnation and standing still is only a way down from that, or you reflect on your strength, on the situation, on the market that you have. COVID helped with that also, because COVID gave a lot of the, uncertainty of a lot of the industries around the world, that gave companies time to reflect on what we need to be doing differently, what's our strength, what's the weakness and challenges that we have in the industries or market that we do, and how do we take it forward. And that where the birth of the new bold strategy of EN in the early 2022 was launched. Not only a brand name change, not only the strategy change. I mean, it touches so much changes around us from the boldness that we want to go for, because we believe that we can go beyond what we're doing. In the past, maybe companies of this region, telecom or others, they look at other matured part of the world to see on their experiences, successes, and trying to copy with a little bit customization. I think we are behind that chapter as a region, as a country, as a company itself. Now we want to set the new strategy. We're setting the new phase of the industry by looking at the strength that we have, the assets. It's like, why do we shy away from investment in an area that we thought of it's gone for the telecom, like the consumer digital type of solution?
Correct.
So with that bold vision and strategy launch, we start executing on it. One, diversification is a key thing. So we cannot rely on one country or one region. We have to diversify our, portfolio, our customer base, our revenue. And at the same time, we cannot only look at one particular industry, be it the telecom, because we have a lot of assets, we have a lot of capabilities. Just if you look at, it's like, if you ask me a question, why do you have the right to expand beyond telecom? We have so much assets. If you look at our customer base across now 20 countries in terms of telecom that we cover, 38 countries that we cover today in terms of telecom and non-telecom, a lot of customer base, a lot of points of sale, a lot of data and insight, relationship that we have with the local governments in this particular market. This allows us to add in our shelf more than one product, which is the telecom product. We can add a lot more products that because we have the right to play and we have the right to win. And with that, we start putting a bold bidding into a different type of industries, different type of verticals, whether in consumer domain, whether it's enterprise domain. Because again, diversification, as I said, in terms of geography, and diversification in terms of portfolio, services, and revenue source. That's why we start putting focus on more type of digital solution in the fintech, in the entertainment, in the cybersecurity, in the IoT, in the cloud, managed services, and so on. And we aspire by our strategy cycle of 2030 that 40% will come out of the non-traditional telecom.
Wow.
And thank you for the nice comment on the 2024 results. We are in that direction. So the great thing that's happening right now from the launch of 2022 of the new strategy till this chapter in 2024, we're heading toward the right strategy, executing more on the digital space, and expanding also more in the geography beyond the region that we have previously served.
It's an amazing pivot and obviously very impressive growth in terms of areas that you now expanded to. Is there another company in the world like this who's done this kind of a pivot? Is there a role model you had when you launched this new tech strategy?
So what we've seen from, let's say, bold line announcement after our announcement, there is a lot of companies, they started mentioning the same strategy, the telco to techco strategy. But what I believe, having served in my previous life also as chief strategy officer, I have no issues of opening my strategy book to competition. Because the difficult thing is not coming up with the right strategy, it's the execution of the strategy, having the right people and culture in the organization to execute it. So I think what we would like to say that we are different in that we mention the telco to techco, but we are walking the talk. We're executing on it, whether it's in terms of the building tech within the company itself, like the example of our fintech company, or acquiring tech company that we can accelerate, and the example of the whether it's Help AG in terms of cybersecurity, or the Stars Play in terms of streaming, or Kareem in terms of the Everything app. These are also on the acquisition part. And a lot of partnership that we're doing. We are opening our arms with a lot of partner. They say, listen, guys, we might be the experts on the telecom side, but we are starting with growth area in non-telecom. And here's we're open to collaborate with a lot of you. And this is why our partnership goes beyond the traditional player, from large player to smaller player, and we take it from there.
Now, in line with your new strategy, Khalifa, you launched your new brand positioning, Go for More, last year, along with the exciting campaign that features global stars like Jason Statham, Shah Rukh Khan, and Megan Fox. Let me just play the ad for 15 seconds for my listeners, and we'll come back to the question.
E&, touches your life.
In more ways than you can imagine.
You want more tech,
More speed.
more convenience,
more entertainment.
more business solutions,
E&, gives you all that.
and so much more. E&, go for more.
Now, this ad promises more for customers. Apart from more connectivity, it also refers to the growing value being provided through fintech, entertainment, mobility, digital services, and others, like you mentioned, from the EN Life platform. What made you choose these as the cornerstones of EN Life strategic blueprint? Are there other sectors also you're looking at foraying into, apart from the ones we just talked about?
So what we'd like to say from that video, and I encourage your listeners to go back, play the video, slow motion, and pause with each of the solutions. All of the solutions that you've seen in that videos are solutions that we're providing today. This is leveraging on our innovation or on our connectivity strength and the partnership that we have. Except one maybe, which is the flying taxis that you've seen in the video, which is something, again, in the UAE, the announcement that 2026 will see the first year. And for those who are frequent visitors to GITEX, you probably recall in every GITEX for the last probably 7-8 years, you've seen E&, with its bold vision and future foresight, is putting such drones there. It's like, and a lot of in the early days, people are coming and asking, why you guys are putting drones? What do you guys have to do with drones? And sometimes we'd like to put a bold ambition, not only for us, but for the whole ecosystem, because it's a collaboration. You cannot have control of drones and commercializing drone unless all the players play, from regulation perspective, from insurance perspective, to operators, to regulators, and so on. And this is areas where we collaborate, we test, we prove of concept with a lot of our partners. We've done maybe 4 or 5 years ago an autonomous bus in one of the Emirates to test what does it mean for us to launch such service. So these type of services, again, all commercial except this one, but we've not only tested it, but we've done a lot of live proof of concept on it. And we believe that we can play more in the area, in the lifestyle of the users, in the ecosystem of businesses, by taking that rights to play and to provide you a service. We want to provide proofs that we can add value to you in your various lifestyle, from mobility type of solution to entertainment to financial type of services, connectivity, protection, security, and so on. And this is what we do day in, day out. We challenge ourselves, and this is why this go for more is also for each individual at E&. You have to go beyond the scope that you have. You have to challenge the status quo. And we encourage people to go beyond their daily work, to come up with new ideas, to challenge status quo. And this is what I usually tell our new colleagues that they're coming, especially the young ones. It's like, don't come and see a process is being done and take it as it is. Raise a question, challenge, open, and we learn more out of our young joiners also all the time. And
what has been the customer reaction, Khalifa, to go for more?
Extremely
in terms
positive.
of customers taking up the new services?
Extremely positive. When we changed the brand at the beginning, there were some attachment with the old brands, but with more communication, explanation, the intention, the boldness of the red, the richness of the portfolio that we're coming up with, and your heritage of Ittisalat is there embedded in the E of E and.
Correct.
And the and is a lot more than what you have, and showing them the proof. So we're not saying E and go for more and we're keeping quiet in our portfolio and services. We're launching a lot of services, we're enriching existing services, and people appreciating. And we see that clearly when we look at the customer advocacy through NPS scoring and tracking. Those customers that they try, the more beyond the telecom scores us a lot higher, because now they're enjoying a lot of the services in their daily life and their businesses. So they appreciate the company a lot more, and they stick to it more.
And the brand recall studies that I read, Ian comes out right on top of the list of brands,
Absolutely.
right? So obviously it's working for you. Now let me double click on the fintech ambitions of Ian Live. Starting out as the first central bank licensed wallet in the country, Ian Money today is much more, right? You enable customers to make international remittances to 200 countries, obtain a prepaid card instantly, make POS and online transactions and payments, issue a free account IBAN, make peer-to-peer, P2P local payments, pay bills, make donations, etc., etc. Your financial super app, I understand, has over 1.5 million subscribers and over 1 million cardholders. Now, it's amazing scale up in a short time. My question to you is, what is driving this adoption of the app? Are there specific customer profiles that are driving your growth? And what are the top use cases that you're seeing in your Ian Money ambition?
So again, going back to having the right to play in this domain. I mean, somebody might look at the UAE financial services market and they would say, a very highly matured market, highly penetrated, large amount of banks.
Yeah.
But the number of unbanked or underbanked in the country is still high.
Yeah.
And if you look at the value that EN can do, and I like always to give an example of, having seen that throughout the year, in the old days of telecommunication services, people thought that telecommunication in the hand, or maybe in the hand as like a larger device, is only for the affluent, for those who can afford it. But with time, in the UAE and similar to some other part of the world, the device, a smartphone, not even a feature phone, is now in the hand of almost every single individual in the UAE. Having launched the best network globally, fastest network in terms of speed in the fixed and mobile, making it affordable, different type of products and services today, from connectivity, inclusion across the whole nation. We reached that. Why not replicate that in other type of services? And this is a role that we can play as EN, mass market solutions for ensuring that financial inclusion is something that we can do across. And given also our ability to serve customer at a lower cost comparing to the other player, whether it's banks or even a new startup, a new fintech startup, because our customer acquisition cost is a fraction of what others can do. And that I can give it back to the customer by virtue of lower cost type of transaction, whether it's in the international remittance, whether it's on the cashback in term of card. These are the kind of solution. Our production house and factories that we do to crunch products and services, use the insights and analytics that we have, allow us at a faster pace launch a lot of the services to the market itself. And because we have the right to do that, our innovative way of launching type of services and the gap that exists in the market itself allows us also to do a lot of the service. So this is why if it was one service that we wanted to put a bet on, and we know that it will succeed, and we don't want to be succeeding to be one of the player. We want it to be the best player, the number one player by distance in the domain that we are operating in. It was fintech. And we don't want it to do the EN Money to be a super app of all type of services. No, specifically for financial services. So this is why we started at this first wave of the launch of revamp the products from UI, UX, design, experience, simplicity, fast onboarding, and launch the essential, the utility type of services, which is payment, local, international. Launch the card because we wanted to make sure also as a country, everybody can instantly have a card virtually on their app or physically if they wish to have it. And now we've added the IBAN also, so they have an account, again, within seconds to have it. This ensures that the utility part of the wallet, we focus in the initial part to accelerate the growth of it. And in the coming phase also, there will be the new part of the financial services super app that we'll talk about, from lending, from wealth management to a lot other services that will be coming up.
So are you saying your initial focus is the unbanked and underbanked, and you'll move to other segments in the future?
When we look at our customer base as a whole, I mean, you ask about the service that is really driving a lot of the take-up. So definitely the service is driving a lot of the take-up is the international money remittance. Again, the composition of the UAE population drive that. The UAE population across all segments, they like, having a very simple way of doing things, the convenience. People don't want to be going physically to a store or standing in line or taking a taxi, and some of them in a remote area and doing that. So convenient is more, and this is why all players into the market now starting to focus on digital channel. But when we do it, we want to do it the best journey for all the user, and trying to give them also the best type of affordability measures for it. Again, leveraging our lower cost to serve and lower cost to acquisition in order to pass it to them. On the card, what we've seen, there's a lot of the initial part, a lot of our expat community, predominantly blue collar workers for that. But when it comes to the card, we've seen also youth is a big segment for that one. We've seen UAE nationals that they'd like to also use the card and the wallet to distribute salaries for also their domestic workers. This is another segment. We've seen international travelers, they'd like to use the card because of the attractive offering and FX rates that it's provide for those users. So, I mean, I was surprised when I was chatting with one of very, very affluent, and he said, I love your service, I love your card. I was like, but you are not a targeted segment. He's like, I love the simplicity. I can instantly open it on the fly. I can have my son open it on the fly, even though they're in another country, transfer fund from them, and then they can add it instantly to their Apple wallet and then transact. So that convenient is what's been driving it, and the simplicity and the UI UX. This is what we're trying to maintain, because you want to do it not only for the sophisticated users, but also for the simple user that they'd like to, download, finish your registration, and start using it instantly.
Is it only a dirham card? You also offer multi-currency cards at this point.
So today, we're not offering the multi-currency. This is coming up. But this is why when it comes to international use, we're offering the best attractive FX rate. So basically, you don't need another currency right now in it.
Khalifa, let me push back a bit on what you just said in the last 5-10 minutes. A lot of telcos globally have tried to get into financial services. We haven't seen too many notable successes. What makes you think that EAN is different? Why should you succeed in a market which is A, highly regulated, and B, highly contested, right? There are 50 plus banks here and many more fintechs joining in, including, competition that's come in the last 3-4 years. What makes you think that EAN money will succeed in this crowded place?
So, I mean, just a point, I mean, telcos succeeded in a lot of what's so-called MFS type of services, and now fintech. In parts of the world, there is the banking infrastructure does not exist, or it's very limited. So out of a need, it started, whether it's M-Pesa in Kenya, a lot of the other also operation in various parts of the world, whether in Africa, whether it's in Pakistan and others. And they succeeded because of the absence or the limited services. Majority of the people are unbanked. We have not yet seen a lot of success, especially from telco, on matured market, on developed market.
Correct.
And this is the message I'm talking to a lot of our partners in. I think part of it because of the telcos in this market has let go. I mean, there is no that ambition and boldness to go beyond the traditional services. We are born to challenge the status quo. We've seen an opportunity. We tested it in the early days of the launch. We've seen the uptake and appetite also for the user to try and to want to see a holistic approach also of all services in the financial services within one app, connecting all communities together, whether it's the young people, the families, the workers, the community itself, allowing us also to be able to mold that complexity and put it together. So from that, yes, so we want to be one of the example of best type of fintech type of solution for mature developed market. And with the new services we're launching, whether it's allowing people not only to spend money, but make money, save money. These are the type of services also we're continuously, and we're betting on the convenient and ease of use and the richness of the services. But I mean, telcos have the right to be player, but they need to have the right mindset, the right execution methodology. And telcos maybe tend to want to work alone. Our mindset and mentality is we love to collaborate. We love to collaborate. I mean, not only with the big guys, as I mentioned, sometimes we would work with a startup to complement a solution that we have rather than developing it or, trying to buy a company to fill that gap. We just do with a partnership approach. And we're constantly looking at the ecosystem of the services that we do, and we refresh every 6 months. Which one we want to build, which one we want to buy, and which one we want to partner. And the situation also evolve every 6 months, and we continue to do it.
And are you looking at offering microfinance services sometime soon?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen a gap into the markets that we're trying to develop. Conveniently for us also, we have a lot of richness of the data that allow us to develop a very robust AI-driven risk scoring algorithm that allow us also to be able to give different tickets size for a different customer depending on their our experience also with them. And this is something that soon we just got the FinCo license from the central bank.
Okay, congratulations.
And this is, thank you. And this is something that we'll be leveraging on to enrich the service for the user, and frankly also to enhance the profitability of the products itself, because credit-based services will allow for an enhanced profitability and allowing us to continuously in a sustainable manner to add a lot more services to it.
So banks should get worried about e-money coming up with a lot of
Not
services.
really, because a lot of the banks, I mean, if you look at them as a segment, bank will serve the higher end of the mass market, the affluent, the mass affluent, the high net worth individuals. But when it comes to the lower part on the mass market, those banks don't want them. Banks don't want to be serving them because of the uncertainty, the high risk associated with them. The data that we have and the insight that we have allow us to pick and choose. I mean, everybody will have the basic wallet, payments, but when it comes to credit-based type of services, also will be selective on which one that we will give them, and the ticket size will control on it.
Talking of banks, Khalifa, as you know, we are expecting to see the rollout of open finance in the next few months in the UAE, similar to the GCC markets. What are your thoughts on this initiative, and do you believe that this gives an advantage to non-banking players like e-money to compete on a more equal platform, let's say, with the bigger banks?
Absolutely. I mean, what open finance will do, give the power also to the user itself. I mean, each one of us have multiple relationship with multiple licensed financial institutes, whether it's multiple accounts, multiple credit cards. If you want to do reconciliation and checking your spend and behavior, you'll have a hard time doing that today because of the different sources. This will allow also for an individual a transparent single source of truth, consolidating all of this information together. And when you know that, you will be able to also reach out for existing licensed entity that you have a relationship with, or a new one when it comes to credit-based products, wealth management type of products, and will allow the users also to do that. At the same time, it will allow a lot of innovation also on the sector. Existing player and a new player will be able to tap into this opportunity and accelerate. We believe when you have new players coming into the market, will even drive the innovation in the existing player. So I think for everybody it will be a win. For existing player it will be a win, because this will make them move faster in their innovation cycle. For starting companies, great opportunities, and for the end user, definitely a big win for them.
I guess the consumer benefits the most.
Absolutely.
Because there is criticism, as you know, that bank margins are too fat in this market, and it's time for competition to come in and make it a more equitable playing field. And maybe that will drive margins lower for bigger banks. But, part of the consumer, right? That's a good time now to take a commercial break. Let me take this opportunity to thank my sponsors, E&, Emirates NBD, Aqua Now, Network International, and Intellect Design Arena, for their unstinting support to Money Majlis. Not only do they help me produce this podcast, voted the best debut podcast in 2024, but they also support my giving movement. As you know, all profits I make from Money Majlis goes into charities, and you can take part in this movement by just visiting give.moneymajlis.com and clicking on the charity of your choice. A $50 contribution will be made by me to your favorite charity.
Money Majlis is proudly supported by Aqua Now, the premier crypto-as-a-service provider, now building in partnership with the top financial institutions in the Middle East. Discover more at aquanow.com.
And touches your life
In more ways than you can imagine.
You want more tech,
More speed.
more convenience,
more entertainment.
more business solutions,
Ian gives you all that.
and so much more. And go for more.
Parents teach their children to talk, to walk, to ride, to read. So why not teach them about managing their money? Introducing the all-new Live Light app, designed to teach 8 to 18-year-olds good money habits. A free and totally secure app designed for them that's always under your control. Top up their cards, set limits, assign tasks, and reward them with allowances. Download the LiveX app to open a Live Light account in minutes, and the first 50 dirham allowance is on us. Visit live.me today. Live Digital Bank by Emirates NBD. Trust and innovation combined. T's and C's apply.
Money Majlis is brought to you by Intellect Design Arena. Intellect drives digital adoption in banking and insurance. Leverage emac.ai, the most comprehensive, composable, and intelligent open finance platform for banking and insurance transformation. Intellect Design Arena.
And touches your life
In more ways than you can imagine.
You want more tech,
More speed.
more convenience,
more entertainment.
more business solutions,
Ian gives you all that.
and so much more. And go for more.
Money Majlis is brought to you by Network International, the Middle East, and Africa's digital payments champion. We make business happen and economies prosper by simplifying commerce and payments. Trusted by over 250 banks, fintechs and telcos, and 130,000 merchants in over 50 countries. Bringing you tomorrow's payment solutions today.
Money Majlis is proudly supported by Aqua Now, the premier crypto-as-a-service provider, now building in partnership with the top financial institutions in the Middle East. Discover more at aquanow.com.
Welcome back. Today in Money Majlis, we are talking to His Excellency Khalifa Alshamsi, CEO of E&, Life and E&, International. Khalifa, let's change tracks to talk about E&'s acquisition in 2023 of a majority stake in Careem Technologies. Actually acquired the Careem Everything app, right? Excluding the business of ride-hailing. The acquisition for, I believe, $400 million has been one of the largest deals in the region and points to your strategic intent to lead the development of super apps in the region. Now, while super apps have been phenomenally successful in markets like China and Southeast Asia, the adoption in other markets have been much more muted. Closer to home, we have seen a number of players like, let's say, the food delivery app Talabat, in retailing, Amazon and Noon, and other platforms aspiring to evolve into super apps. You also have your own Smiles app that has evolved into a leading player with, I believe, 3 million users, 10,000 restaurants, and grocery stores. My question, Khalifa, is do you believe that super apps will become a strong concept in the region? And if so, what services do you see contributing to the anchor services that will lead to significant revenues for you?
That's a great question. And the star that you mentioned, which is super app, is meant to be for the eastern part of the world and not the western part of the world.
Yeah.
These kind of statements is what suppress innovation. This is the kind of statement that makes people rely on that statement and do nothing about it. Careem is a regional success story.
Right.
It's a unicorn that everybody's, whether they're involved in it or not, have seen a company like this, innovative, comes out of the region that got the attraction of Uber when it acquired the ride-hailing business. So the Careem innovative team, Careem, Magnus and Mudassar, they are pioneer of this region's entrepreneurs, and they they're always hungry to do more. I mean, the go for more DNA is in their hearts and mind. And this is why when they wanted to also go beyond the ride hailing and start the everything app movement within Careem, they wanted an investor that will come in and help them spend the money to go beyond the test environment that they started in Dubai during the COVID time. And that's where we come in. The money that was paid, the $400 million, is purely to accelerate the growth, whether in the UAE or beyond, which is UAE, Saudi, and Jordan, the market that we're operating the Careem Technologies or Careem Everything app in. And the signs that we've seen right now, it proves that this type of concept is working. Because if you take it from the subscription type of service that we have, it's among the majority of our user base. If you look at the engagement that we have from the user across multiple services and multiple platforms, is extremely high. And the minute that you have service customer trying out more services, also you've seen the satisfaction, the revenues, GTV is going higher. So the concept of everything app is working, but the center strength is in the platform and integrating the players. And sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, you might not do everything yourself. Some services you'll double down and build it internally, and others you might choose partner, because when you say everything app and every other services, you might choose partner that will allow you to accelerate. So we probably came later than some of the existing players, but when you look at the growth percentage of Careem comparing to the other players, we're growing at a lot faster pace, and we're doing it cautiously. We're doing it profitably, but at the same time capturing more of the market, because the total market opportunity is extremely high. And that was proven by the latest IPO that we saw, that the market also reward these industries and reward growth stories. And this is why we're doubling down also on Careem, leveraging on the solid team and technologies that we have. And that's a main differentiator when it comes to Careem comparing to others.
So in your mind, Careem Pay and EAN Money will coexist. Is a big enough market for both to be there and operate profitably?
Absolutely. And there is a whole lot of collaboration beyond the front store, beyond the app itself, that the collaboration is happening there, and the agreements and the tech sides and the partnership that we have. So we're leveraging the same. I mean, the factory in the back will be the same.
Khalifa, EAN is also a significant shareholder, 25% shareholding in Vio Bank, the digital-only bank that is growing very significantly in the last few years, disrupting the financial landscape in the country. You sit on the board of Vio Bank. The CEO is my ex-colleague and good friend, Jayesh Patel. This investment was a precursor to your launch of EAN Life. What was the thinking behind EAN's venture into taking a substantial stake in Vio? Do you see a lot of synergy between EAN's and Vio's businesses, or is it a pure strategic financial investment?
So you're right, in the financial transaction happened before announcing the new strategy. But the fintech focus was there in the company, because we had the older version of the EAN Money to start before the launch of the new strategy, but it was more on partnership with banking partner, restricted licensing on it. But we wanted to go beyond that. And when an opportunity came to put an investment along with great shareholders such as ADQ, Alpha Dhabi, and Fab, we jumped on it, knowing where we're going also next when it comes to playing a bigger role. And as I mentioned earlier, Vio plays fantastically also when we're covering the full ecosystem of financial services, serving the affluent and mass affluent, the SMEs, and filling a gap into the market, solving solution from tech and analytics perspective. And we're very proud of Vio. I mean, one of the limited banks globally to reach profitability in 11 months, fastest growing. And we've seen a lot of license in the region comes on digital bank, but we have not seen any success stories similar to Vio. You can see the Vio in terms of app rating, and we see it in terms of the NPS is world class. And this is why allow us also to grow fast by only the customer advocacy for the service. And we're launching services in a manner to perfect it and grow it fast, and then we continually the wave of it. So we started our services on the SME focus. We added the retail banking, limited to, banking and payments, moving more on credit now, and continuously also the WIO Invest is best in class platform for a lot of investment. My son uses it all the time, and he drained money from my account to his to try it out. But it tells you the simplicity. I mean, the UAE, maybe this is one of the areas that the UAE as a market as a whole has not penetrated a lot of the trading and investment type of portfolio. Now we're seeing a wave of that similar to other parts of the world. And it's not only limited to certain brokers that they'll have to do it, but also even to the masses. People can test, try, have a full visibility and control.
Talking of SME, I must mention I opened my consulting business account on VO yesterday, or VO Business, and the account got opened within 24 hours. I got a credit card in 24 hours. I don't think there are too many banks in the world that can actually open an account for SME within 24 hours and provide a credit card. So I think, the board and the team are doing a great job. So compliments to you.
Thank you.
Now, on a little note, Khalifa, when you think about your ecosystem, you have EAN Money, EAN Life, then you have Kareem, you have VO Bank, you have this Miles app. Are there overlaps around these different products? Are you looking at some consolidation in the future, or are you happy for these to complement each other?
So definitely there is a lot of area that they synergize and complement each other. And this is sometimes what we do. But we don't do the synergies and complementing for the sake of having this company and let's find a way to synergize. We do the synergies centered around the value that will be provided to the end user. So when you have a cricket tournament launch that is owned by Stars Play, and you have a fintech with a lot of, let's say, cricket lovers also in that one, that they remit all the time. And when you launch a product to give incentives for people who send remittance through the fintech app to get access also to certain content, that's where you synergize for. It's driven from the consumer behavior and not just because we have two separate companies. For the some of the existing overlaps, we are consolidating the way that we're servicing it. So the food and grocery delivery of Smile that we've started before Kareem business, we've seen Kareem, we've seen the way that they do their business, we've seen the profitable way that they do their businesses. And now we're, again, going back, we'll have storefronts, as I mentioned earlier, might be differently, but the back end and the engine and the factory will be unified. This will allow us to also to expand fast to different type of segments, but in a more efficient and profitable manner.
So talk of the back end and the factory and the synergies. I'm sure you're using a lot of data and therefore Gen AI going forward. Now, McKinsey points out that telco CEOs globally identified two levers for value creation in the coming years. One is AI. The second is automation at scale. You recently said in another interview that AI is an essential element to support the various platforms of your business. However, ethical usage is important. We're in the middle of the Dubai AI week this week. What are your ideas on using Gen AI ethically and responsibly? And what difference can we see for customers coming through from what you do?
So, I look at the AI as another tech innovation that's coming through the different waves that comes to us. And the question is, how can we best utilize that? The best AI use case that you use it in a manner that the end user does not see the flag of an AI or wrap AI around it.
Correct.
So I want to deliver a service that's more efficient, more customized, more personalized to the users. So when we look at a traditional way of KYC in a fintech banking or fintech business, the old way that you just mentioned about your SMEs, a traditional KYC and then an AI-powered KYC.
Right.
It will be faster, cheaper, and more accurate. If you're looking at, fraud transaction and flagging fraud and resolving fraud issues, blocking and unblocking, if you use a traditional manner, which takes longer time, errors, and backlog of a lot of the services, and maybe exposed to some fraud that you probably don't catch, versus an AI-powered fraud tool that allow you to trigger it instantly, protect the user from an external fraud, and so on. When you look at the way that you deliver streaming entertainment type of services, you can always do it in a more personalized engine. You can do it more efficient because when you do a content ingestion in the platform, you can do it a lot faster. You can do the EPG type of data more accurate to the users. All the metadata also can be rich and more accurate when you use AI versus use human-based related process. Food delivery, for example. One of the things that frustrates me about food delivery when somebody tell you 30 minutes and they deliver it in 45 minutes. I like if you stick to a timeline, whether 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you deliver it on time as you promise.
Yep.
Now, why people miss that part? Lack of data, lack of AI use cases that they cannot predict, not only from the delivery point, but also from the order that you selected, the meal you selected, the time that taken to prepare that in the kitchen, the time of the day, the traffic on the road, that all of that data, crunching it, the algorithm done in order to give you that prediction. And for the bold statement of Kareem, they say, if we don't do it in time, I'll give you a discount for every minute delay. You use the power of AI to deliver that. So our AI use cases centered around areas that you want to make a difference also to the end users. And that's how we're looking at it day in, day out.
Khalifa, you also look after EAN International. And we saw revenues growing by 12% last year. And you're making acquisitions and expansions in new countries like Central and Eastern Europe. Of course, the maturity of each of these markets is different. Do we see EAN Life, EAN Money following the expansion as well? Are you going to look at expanding out of telecom services in these new markets as well?
Absolutely. I mean, as I mentioned, Kareem today exists in the UAE, Saudi, and Jordan. So even Jordan, we're not there yet, but it's one of the market that it's servicing. If we look at Stars Play, it's almost cover the areas. So the areas wherever we are there as a telco and there as a Stars Play, we have a joint go-to-market activity that allow us to scale. We'll start seeing also some of the services, a new footprint that some of our digital companies do not exist, like Central and Eastern European country that we're now started, and will be expanding some of these services. The fintech today, it exists in a lot of our markets, from all the way to West Africa to Pakistan and Afghanistan in the East. It does not exist under the brand EAN Money, but the engines, the know-how, the synergies, the partner, these are the stuff that we're using across all the footprint, and more synergies will continue to apply, leveraging our existence in the telecom side.
Okay, and talking of telecom, Khalifa, a lot of people believe that voice and data pricing in this market is still pretty high. Do you see that coming down in the future?
Well, I mean, if you take the cost of 1 gig of data over time, definitely you will see a sharp decrease. And what we also enjoy here in the UAE, best quality network in terms of coverage, in terms of speed, comparing to other parts of the world that used to be called developed markets, is a lousy quality of service and lousy speed and coverage. So definitely these premium also for the service have different in terms of perspective, but definitely pricing are continuously going down, and it exists in a different form. So it's in a flat rate, all you can eat type of approach, in a different proposition, pay less for a lot more value that you're getting. And this is evolving with time.
And now you have this package option, right? On EAN, on the app, for example, you can buy different elements of the app when you're traveling abroad, for example.
Absolutely.
And make your own plan.
Absolutely. And this is something that we give power to the user. They're not stuck into 1 or 2 plan, and people can customize also the plan according to their needs.
Now, you talked about partnerships earlier, Khalifa. Partnerships are a major part of what you do in EAN Live. I mean, you've got multiple partners, MasterCard, Kareem, VO, other telecom partners. Collaboration, of course, is important in any business you do today. How do you nurture and grow successful partnerships, and what can other industries learn from you in this area?
I think the main thing that any business have the mindset of collaboration with others, even with your direct competition in some sorts. That's the way, the art of finding a win-win situation for all without destroying your own value. I mean, nobody want to do a partnership that will destroy value for them. So, and being humble that you don't know everything yourself. Because sometimes when people in organization, they believe that they can do everything on their own, they cost the organization a lot more money and delay in time, whereby they could have taken a solution from a third party, a partner, and the best partnership that you gain the risk and reward together. And this is the methodology that we're applying across a lot of the services, whether on the tech side or also on the telco side. Collaboration with partner, it's a name of the game. And I think that openness is what will drive it forward.
Okay. Now, let me talk for a minute about sustainability, Khalifa. You have taken financial inclusion as a major platform for EN Money and EN Life. Tell us more about it. Do you think that banks have traditionally ignored certain segments that you can now address profitably? Because the issue has been for banks, everyone wants to do it, but can you do it profitably? What makes you think you can make profits out of these segments?
I mean, if you look at the financial services over the time, of course, when it was defined under physical service branch-led type of services, that had a cost to serve associated with it. Now, the more it's moving on the tech sides, allow you to have a cheaper and a lower cost to serve. What different in EN and an ambitious telco in this area is also the use of the other information that you have from the data that you have that allow you to, target the right customer with the right proposition, development of a risk scoring algorithm to allow you to lend, tickets to the right segment and not the others, or smaller versus bigger tickets. That's allow you to have a better innovative way to do it. So again, the belief that we have that we will be able to replicate the successes that we have in providing and launching telecom services across the full base, whether it's in the UAE, Saudi, Egypt, or all the way to our West African operation. The ability to service everything cloud-based platform, leveraging on capability that we have, and partnership, because in some of the market, we don't have all the license, but we will work with a licensed entity, whether it's a bank, whether other financial institute, to work jointly in servicing the customer, having the right commercial model that reward everybody, and be able to service different type of players. Even in the telecom side, I mean, you've seen recently in the telecom, being able to service different type of segment through what's so-called mobile virtual operators, MVNO, and that allow also the main operator to focus on a certain segment while the MVNO will focus on the other part. And for us, financial inclusion and connectivity inclusion across the whole population that we have, not only in those cities, in the urban area, but also in the rural area, is something that we practice day in, day out. And this is why even in our partnership with the Edison Alliance, we have commitment on expanding the telecommunication services in the developing market beyond the traditional cities and urban area. And that's a commitment we're taking it upon ourselves, both in the telecom side, in the financial services side.
Amazing. My final question, Khalifa. You're an exemplary business leader in a very high growth industry. What values do you hold most dear in your approach towards people? I mean, you talked about your son. When you talk to your son, what skills and competencies do you believe he should have, to succeed in today's world?
So if I narrow it down into the earlier part that you mentioned, I mean, if you have businesses in a high growth, tech-driven area, the leadership of these businesses definitely have to have that strategic vision. Because if you limit yourself into your own market and into your own player and competition, and your strategy revolves around that, you will not go anywhere. So that strategic vision, future foresight on what's happening, that technology trend knowledge, behavioral trend knowledge, that will allow some of these tech leaders to evolve. And it has to be done on open for experimentations, accepting to fail smart and fast, this particular area. Open, because you cannot do everything in silos in such environment. It has to be in a collaborative manner, open for partnership and collaboration. These are some of the things that leaders of this day will definitely need in order to ensure that they are working in an environment that allow for a very fast growth.
And what skills and competencies you tell your son to adopt in today's world?
Definitely, continuous learning is very important because the rate of new things happening day in, day out. I mean, I was telling you about my drive from Abu Dhabi to Dubai this morning.
Yeah.
You'll have to use even that time of the day that you might think of it before to listen to some music or to some other activity, is you have to use that particular time to learn. So continuous learning is something that you require, because in order to stand, whether you are a CEO of a company or a new starting employee, you will have to be adaptable also to the changes that are happening in your environment, and you have to complement it with good learning.
Excellent. Your Excellency, Khalifa Alshamsi, thank you very much for your time today, for your wisdom, for your insights, and I wish you the very best with EN Life and EN International. And thank you, Khalifa, for donating your $1,000 gift card to Red Crescent. Very good choice.
Money Majlis is proudly supported by Aqua Now, the premier crypto as a service provider, now building in partnership with the top financial institutions in the Middle East. Discover more at aquanow.com.
Money Majlis is brought to you by E&, a global technology group.
Money Majlis is brought to you by Intellect Design Arena, driving digital adoption in banking and insurance.
Money Majlis is brought to you by Live Digital Bank, powered by Emirates NBD. Trust and innovation combined.
Money Majlis is brought to you by Network International, the leading digital payments technology company in the Middle East and Africa.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Money Majlis. Let me remind you, dear listeners, to visit my giving website, give.moneymajlis.com, to redeem your free $50 gift card towards a charity of your choice. You can redeem it for either Red Crescent or any of the other 5 charities on the website. I can assure you each of them is a worthy cause. I'll see you next time. Until then, stay well and do good.